under some regimes, depending on when you enter the country and become tax resident, it may be possible to split the year between the time that before you arrived, let's say in Spain or Portugal, and since you arrived in Spain or Portugal during the calendar year. So I'll start with you, Ricky. In Spain, is it possible to get that sort of split year treatment, or in the US we call it a dual status treatment? Or it doesn't exist once you trigger tax residency, you're all in for the entire calendar year?
Yes. So basically, how it works, it's with this point we basically move to the first one. We would go to the three criterias, and we would check whether you are considered Spanish tax resident or not. Normally, whenever people want to move to Spain, we actually recommend them, in order to avoid being tax resident that year that they are moving. We normally recommend coming the second part of the year. So let's say from July forward. This way, these people can avoid becoming tax resident that year. Yeah, that's just something that we recommend, and it also gives us advantage to do like some tax planning. It gives us one more year to plan everything better and to give like the best advice to the potential client.
But having said that, so that deals with the first criteria, but the second too. So like if you come in August or September, but then your center of life becomes Spain, wouldn't that still trigger? Is that a sort of gray area?
Yes, it would become a gray area. Mm-hmm. But what we will do, kind of like to avoid being tax resident in Spain for that year, if we are able to justify that this person has actually paid an income tax somewhere else, we are able to provide this the tax filing, also the tax payment, and then if we are what the Spanish tax authorities normally want to see. Tax residency certificate issued by the country of residency. If we are able to provide all those things, then the tax authorities won't be able to say anything.
Okay. So and again, just playing with that theme, just one more question, and this is the point that Jay Mendez has raised in the chat below. What if you come in like a regular person, a tourist or whatever, and then you jump on either the Nomad or the Beckham law? So for part of the year, you were full blown exposed, but then for part you were not, right? Isn't that it's like a split year as well?
Yeah. So what happens? It's for either to apply for the Beckham law or either to apply for the Nomad visa. Well, we need to differentiate. The Nomad visa, it's actually like the residency status, and then the Beckham law, it's a special tax regime. So Augusto was saying, I mean, the Nomad visa is not actually taxed; it's more of a visa. And then it has like some tax advantages. Mm-hmm. But you can enter in Spain as a tourist, and then from here you can make all the necessary paperwork to actually become actually apply to the Beckham law if needed, or you can and it's the same for the Nomad visa. You can enter here as a tourist and then look for an immigration attorney to do all your paperwork to apply for the Nomad visa. Mm-hmm. Or you can do everything or plan everything before coming to Spain. But the thing that happens is for the Beckham law, you actually need to be employed. Whenever you do the application, you need to have like your employment agreement with the Spanish company. So normally people, they are already living here in Spain. For those months that the Beckham law hasn't been approved yet, these people, they are taxed as non-residents. So no problem for them because once they get the Beckham law, they will be taxed at the same rate, 24%. Yeah, that's the way it works. So you can come here as a tourist and then do all the procedures. Yeah, that you need to do.
Fantastic. Thank you for that, Ricky. Augusto, what's going on in Portugal? Is there possibility to do that split year?
Yes. In Portugal, we have the concept of partial tax residency, meaning that individuals can become tax resident the day that they arrive in Portugal until the end of the calendar year. For example, picking up the July or August, if the individual moves to Portugal he can be considered tax resident since July or August until the end of the year, meaning that he will only be taxed on the income earned after that specific date.
Okay, so that's a great planning opportunity. So if you want to move to Portugal, you're looking at late summer is probably the best time for at least for tax purposes, and maybe others, but yeah. Okay.
And always important to match the date of registration for tax purposes in Portugal with the date when the individual is leaving the previous country of residency.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
To avoid discussions around the double taxation.
Yeah, which is, nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear what double tax. So you need to get that right.
Yeah, and Darren, one thing to mention that I read on the chat. No, whenever you want to apply to the Nomad visa, you can have been tax resident in Spain for the previous 5 years. It's something they changed with the Beckham law. With the Beckham law, it's 10 years. With the Nomad visa, it's 5 years. That if you are already tax resident in Spain, then sorry, but you cannot apply to this type of visa.
Okay, so it's something that you need to decide on as soon as possible, either before coming or just after arriving. You need to have the conversation with yourself. Okay, all right, that's good. That's good to know.
So if you're a 6, 7, or 8-figure investor, entrepreneur, or business owner who needs a tailor-made solution from a qualified team of professionals, we can help you achieve the international lifestyle, the freedom, and even the tax savings you're looking for. Visit us at htj.tax and live that international life.